I think we're on. Willkommen das Process.
Hello.
Hey, all you kids out there. Like I said, welcome to Das Process, the show where we examine how it is that who you are becomes what you do. I'm your host, Mackenzie Astin, and as always, I am joined in the studio by Mike Fasolo.
Bonjour. I'm not really French, just in case.
A man for whom no introduction still puts too fine a point on it. Mike is here to make sure that I don't say too much, and I'm here to make sure he doesn't say enough.
I got nothing for that.
Also in the studio, dear listeners, is Chief Engineer and American hero Colin Crump.
Hello, everyone out there.
Howdy, Colin.
Howdy.
Rick Larder. Rick Larder is with us as well. Rick's one of our producers and a man who strikes terror into the hearts of children and animals alike.
Yeah, fuck kids, man.
And that, of course, brings us to our creator and executive producer, the Ayatollah of rock and roll, Dan Levy.
Yo.
Dan is also an imam of contemporary art. And it is through his charm, his panache, and his line of credit that we have landed today's exciting guest. He's also going to fill in my gaps in awareness as it pertains to the world of contemporary art, which are about as large as the space between Beverly D'Angelo's two front teeth. There's a lamb in the studio. She's all the way down there. It's April Lamb, to be exact. She's not mic'd.
Hi.
But if you listen very closely, you just might hear her bleeding. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Yeah? Anything to report?
The bathroom where we are today smells like bubblegum.
Bubblegum.
Yes.
Any particular flavor?
No, just the regular standard bubblegum flavor. It's delightful to walk in there.
Bubblegum.
Does it
It's nice.
taste like bubblegum?
I haven't tried that, but next time I go, I just might.
Dan Levy, how we doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Having fun.
What's that button you're wearing there on your shirt?
This button is a panda,
And what's the panda holding?
a cupcake. It's actually graphic designer Johnny Cupcakes,
Oh, perfect.
who I don't know. I like his stuff.
Is that
It's
actually
really
his,
good.
That's his name, Johnny Cupcakes?
I don't think his birth name is Johnny Cupcakes, but
Like he's some sort of gangster that shoots cupcakes out of a gun or something?
that would be awesome. A cupcake rifle.
Johnny Cupcake.
He can shoot his cupcake rifle into my mouth anytime.
Wow.
Oh,
wow.
hey, now that
Wow.
might be a little too far.
I think, Dan, you're the one that's striking terror into the hearts of children.
Hey, if there's a line, I'm gonna cross it, my friend.
Fantastic.
We are close to West Hollywood.
Now, that was too far. That was too far.
No way.
We're in West Hollywood, are we not? Or are we
are.
just east of West Hollywood?
No,
yeah,
this is
No, it's actually considered Los Angeles. The address is Los Angeles.
How about that?
It does a kind of a horseshoe around this area.
7800 Beverly Boulevard.
Don't we all?
Try to get in here.
Yeah.
I dare you.
Fuck you guys.
Joining us in the studio today, we are very fortunate to have the artist Greg Simpkins. And pardon me, I'm gonna read from the bio that's on his website, which is www.imscared.com. There's no apostrophe in that, just IMSCARED. Greg Simpkins was born in 1975 in Torrance, California, just south of Los Angeles. He grew up with a menagerie of animals, including a number of rabbits, which often emerge in his paintings. He began drawing at the early age of 3 and was inspired by various cartoons and books. Some standouts that still find their way into his art include Watership Down by Richard Adams, The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis, and The Phantom Tollbooth by Norton Juster. Simpkins' art continued to progress to the age of 18 when he started doing graffiti under the name Craola. Which, if I can stop the bio for a second, mad props. I'm an Angelino myself, and I am familiar with your work. Graffiti art became his impetus for creating and gave him the confidence to paint large works. In addition, it taught him perspective, color theory, and further developed artistic skills, which later translated into his work with acrylics. After receiving his bachelor's degree in studio art from Cal State Long Beach in 1999, Simpkins worked as an illustrator for various clothing companies. He later moved on to Treyarch Activision, where he worked on video games, including Tony Hawk 2X, Spider-Man 2, and Ultimate Spider-Man, all the while attempting to paint with every free moment he had. Were there a lot of free moments?
Oh, not very many.
In 2005, Simpkins pursued his desire to paint as a full-time artist. Since then, He has been featured in numerous group exhibitions and has successfully sold out solo exhibitions. His art is seen in a wide variety of industries, from clothing to video games, and has also come to life in the form of toys, which must be so great for your son.
Yeah.
Does he love them?
He loves to break them.
Perfect.
Yeah.
His client collaboration list includes Disney, Mattel, Upper Playground, Juxtapose, To Die For, Vans, Converse, AFI, Sao Sin, Gym Class Heroes, Pennywise, Strange Co., Ningyushi, Kid Robot, Zero Friends, Epitaph, Dark Horse, Iron Fist, and Pulse International. Ladies and gentlemen, I think people like what this guy does.
It's amazing work. It's awesome.
And my favorite paragraph in the bio, I honestly stared at this a bunch last night. It is his careful weaving of pop culture, the old masters, nature, carnival kitsch, and most importantly, his warped imagination that makes Greg Simpkins a sought-after surrealist painter today. His artwork currently appears in galleries throughout the world. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
That sounds weird hearing that stuff. I don't usually like to read it.
I know.
Or hear it.
I have the same experience on the other side of this microphone. I work as an actor sometimes.
That's right. Yeah.
And going to do interviews, hearing them read that, it's like ooh, ooh, ooh. So why the fuck am I doing it to you?
I have no idea. Why?
I don't know.
Why am I here?
I made you
Okay.
guys do this.
Yeah. Right.
No, I'm honored. Thanks for inviting me to be here. This
Cheers.
is awesome.
Thanks for your patience as we. I think what will become a regular occurrence. We're running a little bit over schedule.
Yeah, we'll always be running somewhere. It's funny to listen to that bio, though, with the part about the twisted images, because of all my artist friends, you are by far one of the nicest and come off as one of the most normal people that I know.
I don't know what to say about that. My face just keeps turning red just reading that. Thank you for saying that.
See,
I appreciate
the
it.
face is red. He's a really nice guy.
Well, I think you've hit upon something there.
Yes.
There's something about inside outside. It was a part of the artist statement on your website about how there's all this stuff that is inside your head that you sort of have to get out. That sort of comes through you into your artwork.
Yeah, it's just spitting it out. I guess that's where any aggression goes, any kind of angst. I don't know. It seems to always get out in my art. And not onto other people.
Right. No, that's great.
Yeah.
That's so much healthier than shooting up a school.
Yeah, I don't feel like doing drive-bys. A healthy day of drawing, and
No,
I feel good.
They're overrated, and you're wasting gas.
Yeah, it's way big, and bullets cost a lot these days.
That's the thing, isn't it? Bullets need to cost more. Is that Chris Rock that has that routine
Yeah.
about making the bullets
yeah,
more
if
expensive?
bullets were really expensive. I'm going to save up and shoot you in a while. I just did Chris Rock no justice, but
I thought it was pretty good.
thank you.
There's somebody else. Eddie Izzard has a line about guns. He says, "What is the NRA's statement? Guns don't kill people. It's just that sound they make." Anyway, you mentioned the old masters in that bio as one of those carefully woven threads. Is there anyone in particular?
Caravaggio always stood out to me, just the way he does his lighting.
Yeah.
He's just amazing. Growing up as a kid, my dad and mom would take me to as many museums as possible.
Beautiful.
Probably exposed me to more of that stuff than sports. Wasn't
Okay.
really good at sports,
Sure.
but I would rather just sit and draw and stuff. So
Right. Did you skate?
I did skate. I started skating when I was like 9.
Right.
I wasn't great, but it was big part of my life for a long time.
Sure.
Just skating everywhere we went, me and my friends, and I think that's what eventually got me more into graffiti, because all my friends I skated with started writing on walls, and I was like, I want to do that too.
Sure.
So
There's I tried to skate a little bit and was terrible at it.
Yeah.
And it has always sort of represented to me this. There's a certain amount of freedom.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of swagger that goes with it. There's a certain amount of confidence that goes with it that I've always envied in skaters and riders, actually.
Yeah. It's yeah, I never had that confidence in my skating. I was good enough to get by and do a couple tricks here and there, but for me it was just being able to go and that freedom.
Right.
Just hop on my board and go wherever I wanted to, and it just felt good.
Yeah.
I still skate. I'm teaching my kid to skate right now.
Beautiful.
We go into the beach parking lot and just bombing the hill, and
Right.
it feels so good.
Do you have them padded up?
Yeah, of course.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
I have to.
Yeah.
So, he tries not to do the pads, but at least the helmet
Right,
most of the time.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. How old is he?
He's 4.
if I may ask for the listeners.
Such a 4.5-year-old crazy booger.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. And That's good stuff. How old were you when you started writing?
Writing?
I mean, graffiti.
Doing
tagging,
graffiti?
Yeah.
I always say I was 18 because that's when I really got into it. I was exposed to it more when I was 17. I grew up in like just suburbs, like South Bay, South Torrance is like.
Sure.
It's pretty safe. There's nothing like there's not a lot of graffiti around there.
Right.
But I had some friends in a class that showed me a subway art book, which just blew my mind. Like I
Sure.
was a quiet kid. I sat in the back of the class and drew,
Right.
got my work done. I was a good student. I just was like, I was just a really introverted, I guess I would say.
Sure.
And these kids showed me that book, and it just opened my brain up. I was like, holy crap, these guys are painting like these sketches like I'm doing, but really big.
Big,
you know?
yeah.
I'm like, I want to do that. And I went and grabbed some spray paint out of my dad's garage and went down to this drainage ditch where we'd all skate and hang out. And I was like, I'm going to paint this. And
Do you remember what it was? The first can. The
first thing I did, I tried to do faces, like these character faces. I did a wolf. It was like a
Beautiful.
wolf with some baggy pants on.
Nice, perfect.
Like, holding a marker. Like everybody drew, other characters always were holding a marker or holding a spray can. So
Right.
I was all into all that. And as cheesy as I think of it now, like how bad my art was back then, I was just everything like, oh, you got to put a marker in his hand. That way he's a writer
Sure.
also, you know?
Sure.
And I was a huge toy. I mean, like we were just clowns, didn't know what we were doing, but you have to go through that, you know, the process
Right.
to learn. And so
Did you ever get caught?
I got caught a couple times, and the times I got caught out here were in like Melrose painting, you know, legit walls. We had permission slips on. We just got curbed for a while.
Okay.
Then I did get caught at this train yard once, and it wasn't for doing graffiti because I had already painted this wall. I was
Right.
down there with friends taking pictures of it.
Okay.
And it was at night, and we wouldn't have been down there unless, like, it was stupid. There was some fight that was going to happen. We're like, hey, let's go see these idiots
Sure.
beat each other up.
Sure.
Like, just, like, bystanders, like, hey, let's go take pictures of this wall. I haven't flicked it yet. And so we got down there, and all of a sudden we see everybody that we came to watch just take off running down the train tracks. And I'm like, oh, crap. And so we're looking. We don't see anybody. We're like, all right, let's get through the bushes and just get back to the car and get the hell out of here. We didn't know the cops were waiting for us with their lights off.
Shit.
All of a sudden the lights went on. Like K9 unit dogs came
No
running out
way.
after us. And I was like,
Terrifying.
yeah, so they walked us up, hands on our head, put us on the ground, face on the ground, put their feet on the back of our heads,
Oh,
and were
yeah.
laughing at us, smishing our faces in the ground.
Oh,
And
God
acting
bless
like they were-
unbridled, unchecked authority.
I loved the fact that I got hurt and not taken to jail.
Beautiful.
Like because we didn't have, I had markers on me and stuff, but it was from like art school.
Okay.
And I had a bunch of photos in my backpack. They opened one pack of photos. It was of me and my band. It had nothing to do with graffiti.
Perfect.
And so they're like, what's bottom line? What's this? What's this? I'm like, it's my band. You see, look, there's a guitar right there.
Right.
They're like, well, what's these markers? I'm like, I'm an art student, I swear. Then all my friends are like, yeah, he goes to school. He's in art school.
Perfect.
And like,
Perfect.
I guess they got another call. They're like, they didn't have anything. They were just messing with us for the most part.
And
But
had they opened any of the other packets of film?
I would have been busted because it had everything that I'd been photographing and stuff.
Sounds like shitty police work all the way through.
You know
Grinding your
what?
face into the mud and then failing to investigate properly.
I'd rather have a bloody nose and some jacked up knuckles than go to jail. And
Yeah.
I was happy. I was like, this is awesome. Like I can't believe we're not in jail right now.
Yeah. Well,
So-
I wonder. That's an amazing sense of freedom.
Yeah, it
like
felt
maybe
really
you're
good.
doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, this is confirmation.
Yeah,
Let's go
totally.
paint some more walls.
I had a good friend in high school, still a good friend, who who never did a ton in journals and always
books.
writing, always great looking letters, great pieces in journals, and only once ever did he take it out to the street.
Gotcha.
And he was about 2 minutes in when they rolled up with the lights on.
Oh man.
Thankfully, he was underage.
Yeah.
And I think the cops could tell that it was not something that he was that he'd ever done before.
Yeah.
And he and his pal were returned to his parents' house, where they decided they would never fucking do that again.
Oh man.
It's funny. It's the opposite side of that coin. It wasn't what he was meant to do. He was meant to do other stuff.
Yeah, I got hurt doing it a few times. I broke my ankle running from some gangsters that were chasing us. I was like stupid for just on Pacific Coast Highway in like Lomita.
Sure.
And 10 o'clock at night, busy street. I was like, I'm going to go paint that green fence right there, right on the street.
Right.
And I'm doing bubble letters, not just a tag. I was just trying to fill it in really quick, like ghost fillings. And then this car pulls up, just stops these guys jumping out. I'm like, oh, I'm out of here. We just dropped everything. We
Gangsters.
Started, they looked like it to me. They
Okay,
probably,
sure.
as far as I know, it
They
could
were
have been
kids as
grandma.
well. Yeah, right.
But they looked like it down there, so I just ran. Like, we just took off running, and I got clear away from them, but by the time I got to my buddy's house, I tripped and broke my ankle right there. I'm like, this sucks.
Not good.
So-
Cast and everything?
Yeah, I was in a cast for like 9 weeks.
Was it one of those casts that has the little rubber thing on the bottom of the foot so you can walk in it?
No,
No.
it didn't. They weren't nice enough to give me one of those. I had to wear a little wooden shoe around it. So
Classic.
really cool. Looking.
Learned your lesson.
Yeah.
What did they make you Dutch because you break your ankle
Yeah,
or something?
yeah, but you could really clog dance really well, on it too, so it was nice.
Oh, that's
So I have a
great.
question going back to the beginning of that first graffiti book you checked out.
Yeah, Subway art.
Yeah, Subway Art. Did you really start getting into all the like famous predating like King Robbo and all those people?
It like when my Scene was in that book, and
I remember seeing you.
years later, actually a few years ago, I was actually able to meet him and do we were both in an art show with Mike Shinoda. We all collaborated on pieces with Mike Shinoda, and he was in it too, so I was able to meet Scene, and I was like starstruck but trying to
Right.
keep cool because I loved that dude. I've seen all the videos he's been in, all his graffiti for years, and he's one of the first guys I really took notice of. And we became buddies, and like I was able to go out with the gallery director with Jensen and stuff to go to dinner with them that night, and got it like sitting there. He's telling me all these stories from New York. I'm just sitting there soaking it in. I'm like, please don't say something stupid. Please don't say
Oh,
something.
shit.
I was like, I'll just keep my mouth shut and ask questions because I can learn a lot from this guy.
Perfect.
And it was one of those full circle things. There's been a couple other guys. I got to paint with this dude Sess from New York, who's in a lot of the old magazines and
Okay.
movies. And like I'm buddies with him, like we keep up a little bit online, but I got to go paint with him in Croatia and another guy, this guy's Sub. Like all these dudes I used to grow up and just love, like came full circle. I got to paint with those two dudes, and I was like, this is amazing.
Right on.
Like I can't believe I got to meet these dudes.
Living the dream.
Yeah, it was,
Living
it
the
was-
dream.
It was awesome.
Doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. But graffiti hasn't really taken like the main seat in my art. Like
Certainly not. At least from what I can tell in terms of stuff that I've seen on the internet. How did the transition come about? How did you go from writing or from doing graffiti art to a more, I guess, what's the right word?
surrealism. I usually just
Yeah, well,
drop on
surrealism,
it.
but like professional art. Is that how you put it? Because it's
I
all-
don't. I just say I don't even know what I would say. I like these days. I always talk about it. Like I grew up when I was little, drawing and painting weird characters and scenes.
Right.
That was always there. And then when I started writing, it connected to it, and it's always been part of it. And it's always going to be part of me going forward from
Right.
18 on.
Yeah,
I'm always going to be
the
doing
thing about the confidence, giving you the confidence. I really that stood out to me as something that really helped sort of propel you
Yeah.
to do bigger stuff.
Yeah, because I didn't have like confidence as a kid. I was like a total nerd, like glasses, chubby, smaller than everybody else. It was hard going through high school,
Right
and
on.
like all the jocks would pick on me.
Totally.
Everybody had nicknames for me, but I was quiet. I wasn't like trying to get in anybody's business. But by the time I finally hit puberty and like was shot up as big, big as the other guys, and I was like, I have art. I can do that. That's going to be my thing.
Beautiful.
And then I grabbed a spray can. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna do that. And then my friends and stuff were like, well, you're pretty good with that. And it kind of gave me the confidence. I'm like, well, can I take this? And then all of a sudden that filtered into whatever I was doing with my black book work. We'd always draw on black books, each other's black books, and
Right.
somebody give you their black books. They hooked that up. So I would do all my crazy characters and scenery stuff in that,
Right.
as well as letters. But I've always been like a huge fan of like Salvador Dali, of course, as a kid. And
yeah,
then-
I see that. I see that in the stuff I was looking at yesterday. In the best of ways. There were a couple of prints of his that I had when I was a much smaller child that I would just lose myself in. There's so much going on,
Yeah.
and I find the same. I found the same in your work. There's so much going on.
Thank
It's
you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Really, truthfully, thank you. That is time well spent for the viewer.
Nice.
So was it in college when did you first move? When did you do the first sort of
Canvas,
art
yeah.
on canvas? Yeah.
Gotcha. I would say my very first like canvas was probably 2001, and my buddy Gary Sanders, who I worked with at Serial Killers, a skateboard company. They used to do those shirts like. It'd be like Ewan McGregor from Trainspotting said heroin on it,
Right,
and stuff
I
like
remember.
that. I used to do some logos for them, but he was like, "You need to paint," And I was like, all right. And then eventually he said, I'm going to, buy your first painting. And I did this Day of the Dead bunny skull, all acrylics, 100% acrylics. I'd never really just done anything like all acrylics. It was always either spray paint or color pencil, marker,
Right.
that kind of stuff. And I did it. And I was like, whoa, that felt really good.
Right on.
And as my buddy Axis and my buddy Nato talked me through it a little bit, showed me the ropes on how to use the medium, and I was hooked. It was right then I was like, this is what I'm doing.
Right on.
So after that I just kept painting and painting. And then my friends I hung out with at the tattoo shop, where I used to get tattooed a lot, Big Daddies, like they would just push me like, dude, you gotta do this. They'd start commissioning paintings and I'd trade art with them. And
Nice.
it was such a push and a good boost. It kept me going.
When is that when you started to feel like you might be able to make a living at this?
No, I never thought I was going to be able to make a living just painting.
Wow.
I went to college, I got a degree in studio art.
Right.
But I always say I just went to school to meet my wife because I didn't really go to classes
Brilliant.
as much as I should have.
Perfect.
So I met her there on my way out, her way in. I was like, perfect. And then I started working in like clothing industry doing graphics and stuff. But I always thought I'd have a steady job. And I would do either walls or canvases on the side,
Right.
just to get my,
expression.
Yeah, it's the way I express myself.
Right.
And it wasn't until I was doing video games, it was like I was working on Ultimate Spider-Man. I'd been working in it like 4 or 5 years, working in the video game industry at Activision, at Treyarch. And I already had like a bunch of paintings behind my belt and like websites and like a MySpace page where people were contacting me.
MySpace?
Yeah.
What in the world is that?
Seriously,
I had a Friendster account.
Yeah, I had one of those too. It's funny how important that was though to my growth. Like I had the MySpace and I had a website my buddy at the video game company helped me build.
Right.
And so eventually, like I had a lot of artwork that was out there in people's eyes, and I got contacted in one day by 2 galleries saying they wanted to show me.
Wow.
It was Gallery 1988
Right.
and Upper Playground.
Did you expect that at all?
No,
Totally out of the blue.
Out of the blue.
What'd that feel like?
It felt amazing. I was like, what's this all about? I'd already done a couple group shows here and there at my buddy one shop at Crew West. I did some shows, and I had a few pieces out there under my belt, but it was like I never really expected to just be able to paint and not have to work on video games, and I still didn't. So it was my wife who came up with the idea. With her boss actually pitched us like, well, why don't you just try to Greg do his artwork and see how that goes. And
Right.
it was like, I don't know, let's not quit this good paying secure job.
Sure.
And it kept snowballing. I met Jensen at the gallery. He's like, I really think you could do this for a living. Him and Katie were such a huge push for me. I love them to death for kicking my butt out of the
That's
gallery.
the thing. I think
gallery.
that's part of any successful artist, no matter the medium. There always seems to be somebody along the lines that recognizes, perhaps better than the artist themselves, something in that person and encourages them to stick with it, to keep going, to really do it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think I look at my life, looking back now that I have some years behind me, it's just a trail of encouraging people that I can point out and go, man, that guy is awesome, or that girl is awesome for, instilling in me some confidence.
Right.
Where I didn't have it before. Now it's like, where do I, keep moving forward, and now I get to explore whatever's in my head on a daily basis.
Right.
It's nuts.
It is nuts. If you've seen the artwork, it is definitely nuts can sometimes have a negative connotation. It is infinite. There's so much in there. It's exciting stuff.
So surrealistic, but it is so beautiful. I mean, it's amazing. I remember your solo show at Gallery 1988, and it was amazing, and there were so many red dots. Your show was fucking sold out before I got there, and it opened. and the pieces, the large work canvas pieces, I mean, the detail that you put into that, the line work.
We're fawning. This is called fawning,
Yes.
FAW.
Would you find it funny talking about art on like a podcast? Because people are like, well, if you could only see it right now. No, you can't see it.
Well, go to www.imscared.com.
My hope is that people will be sitting at their desk, hopefully not their car, and they can pull it up on Google and check it out.
That's true.
I thought about that before we started, that it's an audio-based medium, and we're talking about visual arts. But nonetheless, it's so interesting.
Yeah.
So interesting to hear all this, because I've known you for quite a few years, but
Yeah.
we've never got into where you
that's-
came from, what you do, how it's done.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you can remember successive strings of people that were encouraging over the years. Can you remember anybody that was expressly discouraging?
Oh yeah, I've got
Other than those cops?
like I said, I love those cops.
Perfect.
Yeah. But yeah, there's people.
It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's almost a silly question to ask because there's no sense in pointing it out. But it strikes me as interesting that there are certain people, maybe for whom they can't be encouraging. It's against their nature, and the only way. The work is so good that the only way they can respond to it is by being discouraging.
Yeah,
There's folks like that out there.
There's one guy in particular who I think he was trying to come off discouraging, but his criticism really helped me
Beautiful.
a few years back, and I was like, you know what? Whether he meant it good or bad, that really is useful. I'm gonna run with that, and
Perfect.
it, hopefully
Perfect.
he never finds out he helped me.
Do you ever get younger folks that are looking to you for guidance?
Yes, it's incredible. Like how many emails, like it's hard to keep up with like some of the emails. I try to like. It's generally easier to answer emails about what the process,
Yeah.
like technical stuff.
Sure.
But it's really hard to answer questions about like how did you get to do showing in these galleries and stuff
Right.
like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's-
they approached us and we said yes.
Right. That's the fun. I mean, for me, or how I would look at that, because my parents are both actors before I got started in the business.
Yeah.
People, sometimes young people who want to work as an actor, they'll say, so how do I get started? How did you get started? It's like, well, it was kind of taken care of for me.
Yeah.
There's, I didn't really. It's tough.
Yeah.
Regardless, I feel like it's also a lightning in the bottle kind of thing. It's the right place, right time.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, there are.
It's a lot of.
There are no mistakes.
it's like bureaucracy or television or movies. It's amazing these things ever get made.
Yeah, it's crazy. I do have a couple young guys that work with me. My buddy Graham Kearns, my assistant, and I met him at Levi's. Like I was at the mall and he was working there. He's like, "Hey, you're Greg Simpkins, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to Long Beach State. I know you went there, right?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm going for illustration and art." I'm like, "Awesome! Come by and paint sometime."
Perfect.
He was on the same track I was, so
Right.
he came to the studio. Then I just felt him out, see if he's a good kid, and he's
Right.
an awesome dude. So he became my intern at the time. Stretched canvases, sanded them,
Right.
helped me transfer things, and he kept helping me out for years. And now he's just like my assistant. He actually pays rent at the studio. He's one of the guys.
Fantastic. That's good. And how's his craft coming?
Good. He's starting to sell paintings now.
Beautiful.
And he's working more. Like
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm proud of him where he's come. And then I have an intern right now named Jordan Mendenhall, and he's just a kid that would email us. Like we have a bunch of kids emailing to be interns. I don't really take them.
Right.
It's too hard of a process and kind of iffy. But my wife always answers like majority of the emails and
Sure.
filters through it. And she's like, "I don't know, he's acting pretty professional on this one. Let's have a meeting." I'm like, "All right, we'll sit down." He came in super professional, really eager to learn, and great painter at 18. I was
Nice.
like, he's like 20 now, but I was like, holy crap, this kid's great.
Right on.
And so brought him in, and he helps me out with stretching canvases and sanding. He's doing
Right,
a little
right.
of the tougher stuff, but it's showing his determination to get in there. He'll
Perfect.
drive an hour once a week, come down and just sand and stretch canvases. And when he's done, "Can I clean your brushes?" I was like, "Oh my gosh,
Right
you really
on.
want to do this?" So I've been trying to teach him everything I know.
Beautiful.
I teach, show them both like everything that I know. It's
And I would imagine just being in your presence, being exposed, being at the office, in the studio, just being exposed to how it gets done.
the day-to-day.
Is stuff that will last a lifetime for them.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Like I hope I'm teaching them some stuff. Like
I'm sure you is.
it seems like they're really picking up on it.
Do you teach them how to clean their brushes like Bob Ross does?
Yeah, you shake it really hard and big.
and
Yeah, I
then
actually do that.
And then you laugh a little bit afterwards, like it's kind of perverted.
I tell them little stories about like how I saved a bunch of baby squirrels, and there they were eating out of my hand or whatever. Bob Ross's stories.
Just grab and pull.
yeah.
There's a
Grab and
little
pull.
Vietnamese guy over here, Charlie.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
that's
right.
that was of that time. That's what I kept thinking is like he's having flashbacks
Yeah.
while he's painting.
Wow,
there.
How
was
amazing
he
would that
over
be?
there?
I don't know if he actually went, but he was definitely
Of
that was
that
kind of
age.
his heyday.
He was
in
like
the
a drill
70s.
sergeant.
Oh, was he really?
Get
He
out.
was some crazy guy in the army
Wow.
screamed at all the new recruits.
Astounding.
And then he
Yeah.
became, we're going to put a nice
The
little
happy
tree here."
painter.
Yeah.
I still love Bob Ross, man.
Agreed.
Yeah. Like him, like Weiland has a show now doing similar to Bob Ross, but
Right.
he doesn't got that Bob Ross cadence.
There's something about the way it's just happy,
Yeah.
and he's so happy to be there, and so
And he's good too.
that
I'm
stuff's
like,
fantastic.
That's pretty good, you
Like,
know.
all of a sudden
I
you're like,
appreciate it.
What is this? What is that? Green holy, that's a fucking tree.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
amazing. What's new going on? What do you have that's going on that's fresh?
Oh, fresh stuff. I have a show coming up in April
Fantastic.
at Mary Karnowski Gallery.
Mary Karnowski Gallery.
Yeah, I'm very excited
That's
to be showing with them.
April 21st through May 19th.
That's right.
What's it called?
I'm calling it Cloud Theory.
Why's that?
And well, basically, when I was going about, coming up with the ideas for the show, I had one path I was going down. But every time I would sit and start sketching, I always draw these cloud shapes, and they're real globular, just And the idea is, you sit and you look at clouds when you're a kid, and you see things in them. Everybody shares this same commonality, and I just started drawing all my stuff over these cloud shapes, and it started becoming a show for me. It's like these are my ideas for the show based on clouds. So
That's perfect too. There's something inherently universal about it. In that, like you said, everybody looks up there and sees stuff. That's that's a pretty human thing to happen.
I feel like our subconscious kind of attaches itself. Whatever's in our head, we kind of see because we want to see these kind of things. We see it in the clouds. We're like, oh, that's what I see.
Right.
And so that's basically what it's based off. Like just drawing cloud shapes and seeing where it takes my imagination. And I always have this underlying story going through most of my shows.
Right.
But it's kind of in the back of my head, and I insert it into my pieces.
Nice. How long does it take to complete a solo show?
Oh man, it could take a while.
I would imagine.
Yeah, it could take from 3 to 9 months to a year. It depends. Been working on this one for a while, so.
And going back, you said somewhere in the back of your head is the theme for the whole show. Is that a sort of thought that you try to avoid focusing on? You just let it linger back there?
Yes, I just let it stick in the really back. I don't want too many restrictions on what I'm doing because I know it'll come together and tie together in the end.
Right.
And each painting inspires the next.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, well, I shouldn't jump too far ahead. But at the same time, I got sketchbooks full of ideas.
Right.
And I have so many of these ideas I can't get to that I'm not worried. I'm like, well, I'll just flip through here. There's a sketch. And for years, the last couple of years, I've been writing MK, next ideas I wanted to use for her, for Mary.
Perfect.
And so I was like, oh, that's the one. That's the gem. I'm going to pull that one out now.
Nice.
So
It's Cloud Theory at
Yeah.
the Mary Karnowski Gallery, April 21st through May 19th, and you can check out information about it on the web at mk.gallery.com.
Oh, it's mkgallery.com.
Oh my God,
That's okay. No, it's there.
We'll snip it right out.
Yeah, and the best part is I get a show with my buddy Johnny Mackenzie Rodriguez, and he's going to be in the second gallery at the same time. So we're doing a double solo show.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Double. So there's the two rooms sort of attached
Exactly.
to one another, and they can go get into the Cloud Theory for a bit.
Yeah.
And then go check out Johnny's.
Yeah, and he's amazing. He's one of my favorite artists, favorite people in the world,
Right
and I look up to the dude. He's a great guy. So I'm glad to be showing with him.
Fair enough. You guys are pals. You've been
Yeah,
buddies.
pretty good pals.
That's
yeah.
good. Do you work? That's kind of a silly question. I was going to ask if you work alongside one another, but I don't think that's necessarily how art happens, Astin.
Oh, sometimes it does, though. No, he actually lives out past Pomona, so we're pretty far from each other.
Sure.
But I have my studio. I have a 1,200 square foot studio warehouse, and I have a guy I worked with in video games, Kevin Pasco. He does 3D sculpting. He's working in the front office. My good friend Bob Daub sits right next to me. He just started working in the studio. He's an amazing fine artist.
That's a great
I
name
love that
too.
guy.
Yeah, Bob.
I
You know Bob?
love Bob's work.
Oh, you should come by the studio. He's there
I would love to.
Yeah, he's fun to hang out with.
I have to interject. The way I met Greg was through two friends, Darren and Emily. They go by Dabs and Mila. They are amazing fine artists, graffiti artists from Australia. And you guys have done a bunch of murals together that are absolutely gorgeous. Again, we can't see them through this medium.
Oh,
but
is that one of the ones that's up on your Tumblr?
Yeah,
There was something where you guys were both spray
spray painting
painting
together.
Yeah.
That one's on 7th and Mateo in downtown LA.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
God, I watched that last night. It was amazing to check out. What's your Tumblr?
I think. Oh gosh, I think
Wait,
it's Craola.
It's a Craola. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, Craola.tumblr.
Yeah, with no Y, Craola. So please don't
Yes.
Contact me, Craola
I,
Crayons.
I see a
Why?
lot of collaborations around Hollywood. You know, a lot of walls with different people, a lot of Seventh Letter stuff.
They're great. Yeah.
But amazing people. But the stuff when you guys throw up Dabs and Mila and you, it looks like it's all one cohesive,
all on their
gorgeous
own,
piece.
they're amazing. I love being able to get out and work with them on stuff. When they moved here from Australia, they used to come and work in my studio a bunch when they were setting up shop. So I got to just soak it all in and hang out with them and get to know them really well. So two of my closer friends,
Right
I
on.
really enjoy them.
And again, going back to, and I feel like such a ass kisser here, but I love you. Dabs, Mila, Craola, you guys are some of the nicest fucking people. And I would assume most people at first glance would be like, oh, that guy's a tough guy with the tattoos and the cool hair. But you are not. You are a down-to-earth, nice
You're a
fella.
weakling.
Sorry.
I'm a weakling.
You're a puny.
Now let's go outside.
Punch
and
me in the
fight.
face.
Just to set the record straight, that's Craola1.blogspot.com.
Ah, okay.
Is that what it is?
That sounds about
Let me
right.
make sure I got the right thing.
Oh, yeah,
here.
that's it. That's the blog. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Craola1.blogspot.com. That's Craola 1.blogspot.com.
Okay.
Just to make sure we get we get folks in the right.
We have so many of those the social network things going. I get lost in them.
It's crazy. There's so much of it now, and what's mind blowing. And this is a bit of a digression, but what's mind blowing to me now is how much a part of our everyday vernacular the words Twitter and the word Facebook is and are.
Yep.
And it's I've tried to think of why, and it's marketing, isn't it? I mean, it's everybody sort of latched onto this thing that everybody's going to look at, and so they want to make their money off of making sure everybody checks out their thing on this or that.
Exactly, and we all fall. I mean, I use all of that stuff, but
Sure.
like I use it all through one app now. It's just Instagram. I stopped going on my Facebook because my Facebook app is too slow.
Perfect.
Twitter, I don't feel like I used to like make a bunch of jokes and stuff on there, but I'm a visual person, so Instagram is the visual person's Twitter, and it can go filter to all the others.
All right, 10-4. I've yet to investigate Instagram. I mean, I've looked at other people's Instagrams.
Yeah.
And Boots, my wife Jennifer, she's started to, but she'll have to teach me because sometimes I don't get that stuff.
Yeah.
We'll get you on Twitter eventually.
Oh, I tweet.
Do you?
Oh yeah, man.
Oh, see, I thought you weren't on Twitter.
Oh, I tweet.
But you're not
I
on
tweet.
Facebook.
I'm not on Facebook, but Facebook is on me occasionally.
I see.
That is
man.
that's the name of our cat. My wife and I named our cat Facebook.
Oh my gosh. that's
which
right.
which was actually a great social experiment in that when people say Facebook, there's something else that I'm thinking of. I'm seeing my 19-pound cat. It's terrific.
Big cat.
What's your Twitter handle?
It's at Mackenzie Astin.
That's pretty.
At Mackenzie Astin.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
makes sense.
If anyone wants to get at me, I'm at Famous Dan. And actually, Dabs and Mila gave me that name.
Really?
Because when they first got here, I let them stay with me before they found a place. They were with me a couple weeks, and we would go to art shows. We would all over Hollywood, and inevitably somebody would be there that knew me. And oh, hey, what's up, Dan? And they're like, bloody hell, you know everyone. You're Famous Dan. So they've done all kinds of like.
I like it when you imitate Darren. You get it.
That was an awful Australian accent. Awful. I
You
did
should
him no
really-
justice.
You just go up and say, "Man, you're the greatest New Zealanders I've ever met," and just see him fume.
Oh man,
I
that's
love it.
bad.
You don't need Vegemite.
Flight of the Conchords taught me that.
Yeah.
New Zealand and Australia just don't mix.
No, not at all, man. We had lot of fun at his expense when he was at the studio. Just,
That's
I
classic.
imagine
Hey, you Brits.
hanging out at an art studio has got to be a lot like hanging out at a tattoo shop.
Oh,
which
it's a
is
lot like
fucking
it.
fun.
yeah. You just talk crap all day. That's all it is.
Talk shit, swallow spit.
Yeah.
So do you design your own tattoos? Or
I did at the beginning, and then I got smart and stopped doing that.
you just let the tattoo artist do whatever he wants?
Yeah, I had
She-
this instance. I painted this tattoo shop in Linwood, and there was this world-class tattoo artist there, this guy named Pint, and here's stupid Greg. They were gonna give me a tattoo for painting the wall. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I drew up this dumb back piece, and I'm like, here, do this. When I could have had one of the best tattoo artists, black and gray tattoo artists, do his thing on me. I
Right.
got some horrible tattoos on me, which they're not horrible because he did it. They're horrible because I drew them.
Right.
And I'm like, this sucks. I really want to get my back covered up, like just blast over the whole thing.
Could is it possible? I mean, are the color tones the kind that could be?
Yeah, it's not even finished. It's just
figured out?
black and gray, not finished, all faded.
That's
I'm like,
great.
any of my other friends might just blast over it. I just don't want to sit that long with the back piece.
Right. How many hours do you have under the needle?
No
Under
idea.
the gun,
I
should
get
say.
the same question. No, it's
idea.
never a gun. It's a machine.
It's a machine.
I beg your pardon.
You,
Thank you.
you say tattoo gun in front of a real tattoo
They'll
artist.
shoot you with a real gun.
No,
they won't.
I stand corrected, even though I am sitting down.
Yeah.
No, that's good to know. So it's a tattoo machine.
Exactly.
All
Yeah.
right, fair enough. Fair enough.
I was I don't know how many hours. I don't know how many tattoos I have.
Yeah,
Right.
people ask me that all the time, and you lose track after a while.
Yeah.
At this point, do they not like it when you call it ink? Because it seems trite now, almost like
I
Kat
never
Von
call it
D's
that.
kind of taking over that world of ink. You know.
I don't. It doesn't. I say offend me. It doesn't offend me when people say, "Let me see your ink," but when people say tats, let me
that's-
see your tats.
My brother says that. It drives me nuts.
You got some cool tats.
I hate it.
And like, I don't want to be a dick and sound like a snob, but it's like, I at the same time, I want to be like, they're not tats, man. They're tattoos.
Yeah, there's an ooh there.
Yeah.
Is that a function of somebody trying to sound cool?
It's just laziness.
It's
Yeah.
laziness.
All right, fair enough.
You should just bend over and show them your taint and say, "I thought you said taint."
Did you say taint too?
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, Rick Larder.
Sorry,
great.
any reference to taint that
So-
I can get in, you know?
I'm curious. You have one book, two books.
I have
that's right.
Oh yeah, I have one book out that's been out I think just over a year called Drawn from the Well. It's a 300-page book of drawings.
Beautiful.
That's the one you loaned to me
Yes,
2
it's
nights
a
ago.
beautiful
It's
book.
outstanding. It is outstanding.
So take us through the process of how you got your book out there.
My friend Brett Bryan, he owns Presto Art, and he also owns Pulse International, which is a tattoo machine company. But
Okay.
he owns Presto as his publishing company, and he publishes a lot of books for tattoo artists. And years ago, I met him. I was doing Tattoo Flash that he would sell on his site.
Right.
That's how I met him. But I was looking at him put these really great books out. And we had talked to other people about doing our book, people within the scene that I'm in and elsewhere. But I really like Brett a lot, and he puts out great books. So I said, hey, man, let's do the book together, you and me. And he just was like, I'm wanting to do that. Let's do it. And he did a great job. I was floored with how it came out.
Beautiful.
He's a wonderful person to work with. We're working on my second book right now called The Outside
And that's due to be released
this summer.
this summer.
Yeah, and it's all paintings. The first book we specifically did drawings only.
Right.
This one's just going to be the paintings.
That's what I was going to ask. Did the drawings for the first book, did they come from stuff that you had already drawn, had already been working on off
Many
and on
years.
for a long, long time?
Yeah, many years worth of it's all the messy mind ideas
Sure.
to finished clean illustrations
That's the
and drawings.
inside of your head.
Yeah.
Is in that book.
Yeah.
And then the second book that's coming out this summer, The Outside,
Mm-hmm.
that's work that you've done specifically for the book?
No,
Or a little
actually,
combination?
actually, it's just work that I've been doing. It's mainly work that follows this underlying theme for the past many solo shows.
Uh-huh.
Plus, there's going to be like 5 paintings, big, like detailed paintings that nobody's ever seen that
Beautiful.
I've done. So we held back on publishing them anywhere. So only the people that own those have seen those.
Fantastic.
So
That's good.
I'm
That's-
stoked on showing those finally. I've been
Yeah.
holding off. I want to publish this. I'm not.
You want
showing-
people to see them?
I really do because
Right
I'm really
on.
proud of these pieces. But at the same time, I want them to be in the book, and like I want to make it special for
Well,
people.
yeah. I mean, that's sort of that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Do you get recognized in the street? Do people see you and know who you are?
It's embarrassing sometimes. Yeah.
Right? It's a weird feeling, right?
It's really weird, especially if I'm out with my wife or
Sure.
my kid, and it's just like they'd make fun of me and go, "Oh, look at you, you're so cool," and then it's like
Right.
they remind me how big a dork I am. So
That's their job.
Yeah.
That's their job. I read in one of the interviews that I saw on the web with you that your wife plays a very big part in, I guess, management or in helping organize
Yeah.
your work.
She's a brilliant woman. Marketing is like her skill. Like she basically handles majority of my web presence, as well as my friends Jason and Josh at To Die For. They kind of work together, but she does, scheduling me. She talks with buyers and galleries. She just organizes me really well.
Perfect.
She's super organized, and she's a bulldog when it comes to just keeping, people, at ease.
Right.
She's not a pushover, is what I'm trying to say.
Perfect.
But she's
Perfect.
super pleasant. She
Yeah.
is a really nice person.
And so I want points right now, and beautiful and gorgeous.
That helps.
Yeah.
And I would imagine it also, having that sort of stuff taken care of gives you a little bit of freedom in terms of the work.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to worry about that, so you can focus on what's going on inside that you want to put on the canvas.
100%. She's really aware of that, and she makes sure that I'm not worrying about too much other than what I have to get done.
Right.
And but there's things I have to do on my end too.
Sure,
If
sure.
I slack, I get the hammer too.
Well,
so.
yeah, there's, I would imagine, I'm going to lump myself in with you because both of our wives are named Jen. That we are lucky men.
Yeah.
And if we forget that, we are reminded.
Yes.
And for that, I'm fortunate. God, last night I was having trouble sleeping, and even from a dead sleep, when I got up to go smoke a cigarette, I could hear Jennifer say, "Just go to bed." Just looking after me, even in her sleep, she's looking after me. Bless
Yeah.
her, bless her. Can you think of folks earlier in your career that were really, really encouraging? Teachers in particular, like at school.
Oh man, I could think of I took an art class in 9th grade, and my art teacher halfway through the semester said, "What are you doing drawing these characters and things? You're never going to be an artist."
No shit.
And I was like, "Oh, this is awesome." Now I say it's awesome. Back then I was so discouraged.
Right.
And I didn't think my drawing sucked. He just was sick of me drawing like comic book characters and
Right.
stuff like that, because
He wanted you to draw different things.
like the guy sitting next to me is doing these beautiful landscape like things. He's like, "Why don't you draw more like him?" I was like, "Well, I want to draw this stuff." And I didn't take an art class again until college.
Right.
But I would just do the stuff on my own.
Right.
I didn't want to have the criticism from my teacher
Sure.
and all that
Is
stuff.
that teacher still around, you think?
I wish. I haven't. I heard he wasn't there anymore.
Okay.
But then later I heard he was like going through a big divorce and all that stuff those years. I'm like, I'm not gonna cut him too
During
hard.
that time, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, see, yeah, everybody's just trying to make it.
Yeah, I thought he's probably just grumpy from that. So
Naturally.
I let it slide.
Naturally.
Because I always thought, man, yeah, I'm the artist kid. I always was in school, the artist kid.
Right.
But as far as people encouraging, yeah, like I can't. My parents are huge.
Supporters.
Yeah, like my dad works with me now in his retirement. He builds all my panels.
Get out.
He built everything in my studio. He drives paintings to get photographed
Right
and
on.
drops them off. He builds Dabs and Mila's panels and
Really?
stuff too. Yeah, they're all tight. They try to steal him from me, so I gotta do something to
They're
them.
going to steal them with their pleasant personality.
Yeah,
Charm him over to the side.
they're trying.
God, they must be so proud, though. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
Do you ever think that you would like that teacher to choke on your career? I mean, do you ever
No.
wish ill will?
I remember when I was in college just thinking that, like, hey, I'm doing it, but now it's just like, he really probably was going through some crap. Because you grow older, you see so many other people go through that stuff.
Yep.
You're like, yeah, that's what he was feeling.
You're able to recognize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to the point where you can.
Empathy, yeah.
Yeah, you can say, "Oh, wow, that wasn't about me."
Yeah.
that wasn't about me at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta say that I grew up in the Northwest, close to Seattle, and having looked at a lot of skateboard magazines and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I wanted to see if Bones Brigade
yeah.
influenced you throughout that process, because it was a huge influence for us because we're so removed from the scene.
It's funny you say that. I just 2 weeks ago I got an email in the morning on a Friday morning, and I had a busy schedule that day, and it was Steve Caballero, and he said, "Hey, what are you doing today?" I barely know him. We've only talked like
with
on
his
Instagram.
head all sideways, like.
And I was like, he's like, "I'm flying into LA. I'd love to come by your studio." I was like, holy crap, heck yes, I'm super stoked, And I cleared everything. He came over. I took him to lunch. We spent about 4 or 5 hours just hanging out, painting. I was showing him he's a painter as well, so I was showing him some painting tricks. He brought me like a CD of all his old punk bands, and I was just like, dude, this is surreal. Like if like the 12-year-old Greg could see this right now, he'd be choking. I was hanging out with Steve Caballero, painting and talking skateboarding and family stuff. He's a dad also, and it was the most amazing day.
It's funny how, like, when you're a kid, you know, you hold those people in such high regard, and then you can meet people that you'd never really thought about that's a celebrity, and you just kind of go, you know, you're a good guy. But then when you meet those people that you idolized as a child, it puts you back into childhood. You get all sweaty palmed, and you start freaking out.
You are
and you're like, this is not me. You know, I don't do this.
Yeah, no, that happens though. That's that, and it's actually it's a wonderful. It's what's that word? It's alive. It makes you feel alive. You know, you're and younger. I have this karma that I worked on a TV show when I was a smaller child.
Yeah, I'm
and
very aware. Yeah.
Occasionally, people will recognize me from that show, and it brings up in them the 12, 13, 14-year-old, and it's hysterical because it makes me feel that way too. All of a sudden, you got a couple of teenagers, standing at a bar, drinking whiskey.
I hear you, man. I really like teenagers, especially the female ones.
Oh boy,
Especially the ones that are drinking whiskey.
Wait, sorry.
Rick, I think the sheriff's here.
I'll take a boot in the neck just like Greg did.
That's it. For your art.
For my art.
Fantastic. How we doing on time, folks?
Oh, we're doing good.
We're 50 in.
Fantastic. Well, there's been a back and forth, Mr. Simpkins, and so I will ask, and please answer as honestly as you like. Any interest in this fakakta questionnaire?
Oh man,
that's a no. I heard it right there. Let's talk about something else.
He's like, not with the James Lipton.
No,
please.
I can tell you the James Lipton story that happened to me. Why I think, well, no.
Yes.
All right,
so we put it out there. Let's hear the story.
All right, so he's the guy. He does that show.
Yeah, I know.
And it's a good show. And as an actor, you watch that show and you think, oh man, that'd be neat. Well, one day maybe. You never know. And so I was working on a movie in Toronto in 2002. And there was a lady named Nina Foch, an actress who was at the time in her early 90s or late 80s, I forget. And she was playing the grandmother in the picture. And we got in the van from the hotel to go to the location. And the gal playing my wife in the film, we had both separately, in our own hotel rooms, watched the Actors Studio the night before. And we were going to town on James Lipton, talking shit, saying this, that, the other thing, so on and so forth. I think I had accused him of being a closeted whatever. And from the front seat comes Nina Foch, the grande dame, the actress who'd been doing this longer than any of us had been alive. And she says, "That's my ex-husband, Holy shit. So we're like, no, I didn't. What? Oh, really? What? She goes, yeah, we were married for a few years in the 60s. And I was, oh, wow. We both felt like assholes. And then I said, but you sure he's not dyeing that beard? She goes, no, that's his beard. It's okay. So a year later, my brother, who's an actor, was in Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings wins a bazillion Oscars. A friend of mine hijacks my brother's car, puts me in it, and Sean and I end up at the Vanity Fair party. And I'm completely underdressed for this. I have a coat and a T-shirt that says "I Heart L.A." on. In no way do I belong at the Vanity Fair party. And this place is nuts. You step out of the way of Steven Spielberg and you almost bump into Dustin Hoffman. It's like it's that fucking crazy. And I have a couple of drinks by this point. I think actually somebody and I smoked a doober by the bathroom, and all of a sudden I see James Lipton, and I think I got the in. Yeah. So I go up and I say, he's standing by himself at this one sort of single bar, and I say, Mr. Lipton, I'm very sorry to interrupt. I know he was looking at a piece of paper or something. I said, I'm a young actor, and last year I had the great pleasure to work with an actress named Nina Foch, and I don't know, I love your show. I think you do a wonderful job, and I just wanted to say hello and thank you for that great show, and who knows, maybe one day I could get there. And he looks at me and says, do you have a pen?
Oh no!
Right.
And I'm thinking, hang on, and I went and got him a pen. I said, here you go, Mr. Lipton, and that was it. That was the extent of our exchange. Now he wasn't necessarily a prick, but I thought,
that's all he said.
Well, I know that's I thought, well, how was Nina? Was she nice to work with? Sure, we were married. Something, right? So the last question in that fucking questionnaire that he does pardon my French. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates? If I ever get lucky enough to make it to that show, I know exactly what I'm going to say to him. Do you have a pen?
What did he do with the pen, though? That's
that
really
was
the
my
question.
He wrote on the piece of paper.
Then he
And
just
I-
dismissed you?
Yeah,
You may go.
I was.
Give you a fucking autograph? I mean, like, that's what you think you're going to get the pen
Yeah.
for,
No,
like,
that's what I
or
was
something.
thinking.
98, 9.
Did he give you the pen back?
No, I walked away with
Maybe he was writing something down that,
Right,
that you...
Oh, that
Yeah.
a secret that I
secret
didn't
to
know.
acting, yeah.
He's
that
giving
could
you
have
the
been it.
secret to
Slide you the paper.
life.
Son of a bitch.
You
did
missed the slide.
Did anyone bring the time machine?
Oh, yes.
But that's the James Lipton story. Thanks for listening, and thanks even more for not doing the questionnaire. For the opportunity to tell that story.
Oh man, he is a prick. That was prickish.
It was slightly priggish, but
Yeah.
you know, in being empathetic and understanding his station, I'm sure it was late in the evening,
Yeah.
and I was some sweaty, long-haired, underdressed, scrawny, fast-talking, jibber-jawing, stony-eyed punk who dropped the
Who
name of
didn't
his
even have a
ex-wife,
pen.
who probably took him,
But
to
the
cleaners.
reality of that situation is like I work in the corporate world, and you treat everybody with respect because you never know who might be your boss at some point.
Absolutely.
And James Lipton evidently is not this gifted, intelligent person if he's treating people like shit, because someday that's going to come back and get him, Mac. You're going to go vicious on his ass at some point. I mean, you're going to want to shave his beard off.
Oh, no.
I treat runners, I treat PAs like you could be my boss one day. So
I think Fasolo might have hit on it, though. There may have been something in his head that he had to get down on a piece of paper. Maybe Spielberg had just given him his number or something like that, and he wanted to get it down right away. And along came, Johnny Happy Talk, who thought, he figured this guy will... And it's funny, I knew exactly where to get a pen because of a conversation I'd had with a waiter there. It was actually one of the best conversations I had the whole night at that party, because I felt like he was like, we were both like, fuck, look at all these movie stars. Man, this was crazy.
Greg, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up there was a song on the old picture box, and it was Travie McCoy,
Yeah.
Bruno Mars. I'm ashamed to admit that I really love that song. And I'm watching the video, and I look down, and I'm pretty sure I see you there in
Yeah.
that video. How did that come about?
I met Travie a couple years ago just on email. He emailed me and said, "Hey, I love your work." I was like, "That's crazy." I was just listening to Gym Class Heroes with my wife, Paper Cut Chronicles. I was showing it to her. She liked it. And it was like a day later, I got this email saying, "Hey man, you want to do some shirt graphics or something?" I was like, "Hell yeah, let's do it." And we just struck up a lot of conversations online, became friends. He started coming to a couple signings I had down here and art shows, and he'd stop by the studio, became buddies. And so he's like, "Hey, I'm doing this video, and they have this scene where they need a graffiti artist. And I don't want to use the guy they casted
Right.
for it. I want, you're my friend, would you please come down and do it?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right, I'll do it." Like, he's a great guy. Like, he's one of the nicest guys I've met,
Right on.
especially, you meet some people in the entertainment industry, and I've sometimes you don't know, but
Right.
he's really down to earth. He just seems like all my rest of my pool of buddies.
Right on.
So I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So went and it took 2 days to get that one little shot.
Really?
Yeah, just a lot of sitting and waiting, but I was nothing I expected.
I wonder if the call sheet, if it said Greg Simpkins, graffiti artist.
Yeah, it said,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
it did.
Did it?
I was
That's
like, "Oh,
awesome.
that's crazy." So went down, did it, and the funny thing is, I got a text the other night from my buddy Thomas, and it said, "Hey, dude, you're on Beavis and Butthead." I was like, "Shut up!" And he's like, "No, they're playing the Billionaire video, and it was on." I was like, "Oh, dude, I've been trying to find it like every day to watch it. I still haven't been able to find it online, but it's." I want to see me on Beavis and Butthead.
Unbelievable. There was one of these questions that I didn't get to. Was there a specific moment when you knew you'd made it with the finger quotes? And I would say you just right there.
Yeah, no.
Beavis and Butthead. Come on.
Yeah, I texted him. I said, "Hey, I think you made it. It's just you on Beavis. I just heard you're on Beavis and Butthead."
That's huge.
Dude,
That's
when,
pretty good.
when Mike Judge kind of includes you, you have to feel flattered on that. I mean, the guy's kind of high intelligence genius and
Yeah, he's
type
a
of
genius.
creator,
Sure.
It's really Travie and Bruno that got included on that, but I kind of got to get a little taste of it.
Take what you can get,
Yeah, I'll
man.
take what I can
Yeah,
get. Yeah.
It's funny because it's such a small universe and world. Mike and I come from Robot Chicken, and Travi was on that Robot Chicken skate tour.
Oh, right
And
on.
became good friends with Seth. So
Nice.
secular universe we
It's a
live
small
in.
world.
It
It's
is
a
a
small world, and I think
Smaller in post and
yeah,
production.
Smaller and smaller. I think we've plumb run out of time in this hands. Am I wrong about that? Are we?
We're 58-33.
Holy shit, 58-33.
Wow.
Flown
Well,
by.
I could do this all day.
That reminds me of
Of a song. You want to sing a song?
50, yes, the old 58. I'll sing 58. You sing 33. No, I wanted to bring up the plugs once again. The show coming up, Cloud Theory, Greg Simpkins Cloud Theory at the Mary Karnowski Gallery, April 21st through May 19th, and you can go to mkgallery.com. That's mkgallery.com. And keep an eye out for the book too. The second book from Presto Art called The Outside.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you,
Greg,
brother.
I'd like
Thanks
to
for
thank
being
you.
here.
Thanks,
This was
Dan.
excellent. I've had a good time.
Yeah, this is good.
Hope you had fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks so much, Dan and Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Wow,
great.
this is great. Let's all no, because we'll knock microphones into each other.
But when we're off of this, big hugs for everyone.
Yes.
And as we say at DOS Process, don't forget the Alamo.
Yeah, it worked. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm honored.
I repeated the question.
Oh, that's good. Thank you so much, man. It's really nice to meet you, too. I remember you.
That's the thing.
We're probably not that far off.
No, you're from